Well, good afternoon. This is Wayne Albright, and I thought I'd go live for the upcoming storm. I'm just checking to see if I am actually going live. I'm having technical difficulties. I don't do that. I don't do this that much, so I'm losing track of what I'm doing. So let's see. Okay, I am on. Is that correct? Put it in the sign into chat. All right. Just give me a minute. Oh, I gotta find this now. Just a second. Too many passwords, too many things. Technology is probably one of the reasons why I'm retired. So, give me a second here. Continue. Cancel. Not now. Skip. Add a profile picture. Skip. All right. Am I on chat now? I don't know. So I should be live right now. Oh yes, I am. Okay, I am live, checking that. Anyway, I thought I'd get on this afternoon and discuss what's going on. And there are some things that are very interesting and could be potentially dangerous this weekend for the storm. Things have gone a different direction a little bit as we go forward. So it is Wednesday, January 21st. We are still probably a good 3 days from the storm arriving, but there are some signs in the models now that are going in a certain direction, and I want to highlight those here. Again, I will be talking about from Pennsylvania, central Pennsylvania, southern Pennsylvania, down into mainly northeast North Carolina, but some of this will be covering North Carolina, away from the mountains, generally from central sections to the coast. So that's what this is going to cover. So let's have some highlights here for the weekend. The weekend winter storm chances are increasing, with significant or devastating impacts becoming more likely. Ice. Uh-oh. Now the frozen. Now, what's frozen now? So, how are we doing? We doing all right? I don't see it moving. Somebody told me the camera's frozen. Is it? I don't have to do it with the camera. I can do it without. Or I can start over again. I don't know why it's frozen. It is frozen up on the screen here. Camera is frozen. PowerPoint isn't frozen, just your camera. All right, I don't know how to fix that. Let's see here. Deactivate and activate it and see if that happens. There it goes. Is it fixed now? Looks fixed. Okay, back to the briefing here. After more technical difficulties, I didn't have this much trouble when I was at work. But anyway, winter storm is increasing with significant or devastating impacts becoming more likely this weekend from this storm. And ice is now trending north into southern and central Virginia, and heavy snow is now expected or quite likely across northern Virginia to southern southeastern Pennsylvania. And right now, I would anticipate at this stage, being 3 days away, I would prepare for travel disruptions if you plan to travel in the mid-Atlantic. And there could be possible prolonged period of power outages across the area, especially where ice is the predominant precipitation type. And then behind the storm, as I've said in the previous briefing, very cold weather is coming after the storm, which will just make the storm impacts linger well into next week. So what we got going on here? Why has it changed? Well, here is the upper air pattern right now. Oh no, this is the upper air pattern right now. This is the upper air pattern right now. We are dominated by a northern stream jet coming out of western Canada through the mid-Atlantic. There's a little weak ribs of a low off of southwest California. Strong trough aloft with its polar, what I would call a polar vortex up here in Hudson Bay. So it's driving cold air and continuing to feed cold air into the eastern part of the United States from that source region. If we move forward to the weekend, and if we start a few models back, the earlier trends were to suppress the storm and have heavier snow farther to the south and push the ice to the south. And that is due to the zonal flow that was forecast about 2 days ago. You have a northern stream system up here coming out of Canada, and you have a separate southern stream out here. But the northern and southern streams are together, and there's a moisture plume coming here. But this back here in California is basically a non-player, so the northern stream suppresses the jet and keeps any storm heading east to west. So as we go forward in time through yesterday, things started to show signs of changing, and you can see that right here from the day before. You're seeing an influence here of a digging system, and potentially this system is coming out, causing a ridge to form ahead of it. As it goes forward, you can see the ridge trying to pump up a little bit. This system is ejecting. This system is coming down from the northwest. If we go to last evening, this is for Sunday afternoon. I'm showing why it's changing. Here it is. No, this is Saturday. Right there is the ridge pumping. So that right now, the forecast for Saturday has a nice gentle ridge out in the Midwest from the Gulf states, and trying to phase something from the north and southern stream. You can see the difference. It's very pronounced. So if we go farther along to Sunday afternoon and go back, we have pieces here. This is the main storm right here coming through Arkansas. There's a piece of upper level energy behind it, and what looks like what's left of the Gulf or off of Baja California trying to come out, but there's a piece of it that comes out and spreads precipitation to the east into our area. But over time, there's more of amplification. As you can see, this was 2 days ago. Look at the ridge in the eastern part of the United States because of the response of these two systems trying to get together. So initially there's one little piece that comes on Saturday, tries to dry up a little bit, but the second piece is coming on Sunday as this trough gets going, and it really amplifies the ridge aloft as this is starting to amplify deeply into the plains. So that by the current run, we really have ridging in the eastern part of the United States. And what happens with that is warm air aloft is beginning to spread north, unlike what it said a few days ago, which would be more of a zonal flow and a flatter flow, which would prevent widespread warming aloft and limit it farther south. So what we're getting is a warming trend aloft, and I'll show that with a sounding if it comes up. Here we are. Let's go back. I will go back to about 2 days ago for Sunday afternoon. Pardon that it takes a little bit of time. Oh no, I can do it this way. Alright, I'll go back to Monday morning for that same time frame. Look how cold it's supposed to be on Sunday afternoon. This is just 2 days ago. We progress through time. This is a sounding, I think, if I'm not mistaken, I took it from, oh wait a minute. Anyway, so you can see how cold it is. This is from Southern Virginia, I believe. So if you go forward in the models, you start with that 2 days ago, you go to yesterday, as it's making a, see how much warming there is? Above 5,000 feet to about 10,000 feet, we're approaching zero. This is the zero line. Whereas before, we were very cold in Central Virginia. We were -5 to -7 in that layer. Now, it's almost zero Sunday afternoon. This is just one day, 24 hours difference. Now we go to now, what it's forecasting for Sunday afternoon. The warm nose, the dreaded warm nose, has really expanded above zero. This is the zero line, this blue line right here. We're talking almost 7 degrees above the zero line in Celsius. The warm layer is a good 4,000 feet thick. That is a doomsday to snow. And as it says here at the bottom, freezing rain is the predominant precipitation type. So this is what I'm talking about. 2 days ago, it was showing a snowstorm. Now it is showing ice into Central Virginia. What that does is it pushes the snow to the north. So let's see here if I can get back to the map. So right there is where that sounding was. Now we go farther north and see a sounding. And you see how much colder it is to the north, sleet and snow all the way up into northern Maryland. Whereas before, it was extremely cold up there. Very cold, all snow. If there was going to be precipitation, it would be all snow. So things have changed quite a bit, all because of an amplifying system west of our region. And the models have caught on to it. This ridging is the difference, and this trough trying to combine between southern and northern streams is pulling or pushing that ridge up. So that while at the surface, it's not going to warm up that much up into Virginia and Maryland and Pennsylvania. It's going to warm up above our heads. So let me see if I can find what I was looking for here. I don't have it here. Oh, no, that's not it either. Okay, this is what I'm talking about right here. The warm air is coming aloft. So as the warm air deepens over your head, freezing rain is more likely. If it's smaller, it's sleet, and if you don't have any warming aloft, you have snow. So right now it's trended in many places from Virginia north into northern Virginia, or toward northern Virginia. We've trended from snow to at least sleet, and the farther south you go is freezing rain. And then toward the coast, it just goes from snow, sleet to rain in southeast Virginia at the coast and northeast North Carolina. This is what we use as a tool to determine the precipitation types. I know people say it's 22 degrees, why is it raining? Well, I've seen it rain at 15 degrees, okay? I've seen it snow at 42 degrees. You got to look at the whole atmosphere, and that's what this is showing here. Enough of that. I will go now to what is going on here and go by the models. And we've already laid the groundwork of why models have changed. Here's the European. Storm is not here yet Saturday afternoon, both on the GFS. The GFS is now held back on Saturday afternoon, like the European suggested 2 days ago. So it is slower. That again tells me and other meteorologists for sure that something different is happening because it's slower and it's catching on to a more deeper storm to our west, especially aloft, than was depicted before. So all these things come together and are signals and signs that show these things, and that's what we study as the storms approach in 3 to 6 days out. That's why it's caution that you look at things at that time frame, especially out farther. You have to be cautious about how far you want to push what is going to happen. You have to be a little reserved at it, and I'm trying today to stay calm because I'm getting back into my old frame of mind. When a storm comes, I get excited. Most meteorologists do. So I'm trying to be reserved here in what's going on. But the GFS brings the precipitation, mainly snow, northern North Carolina into central Virginia Saturday evening, and then spreads it north. But while it's doing that, the pink and the orange shades are increasing from the south, so that by Sunday morning we have sleet all the way almost to Petersburg and Richmond. It's starting to change to rain at the coast in northeast North Carolina. Freezing rain is well south down in here in South Carolina, and the European is basically showing the same thing as it's coming north. It's a little quicker, though, with its changeover into southern and central Virginia. Also, it's a little sooner along the coast with the change over to rain. So the European is a little faster with the transition than the GFS. But all signs point to that happening well into central Virginia now, and maybe all the way up into southern Maryland and Delaware and things like that. So the differences will be how much of this orange is there? Is there a lot of freezing rain instead of sleet? Or is there a lot of sleet versus freezing rain? Depending on where that sets up determines how bad or the impacts are with respect to ice. Could it be a couple of inches of sleet over freezing rain, or is it predominantly freezing rain and you're getting a quarter, half inch of ice on top of any snow that would fall at the beginning, or maybe a little more than that if it really had. I mean, the European really has a lot of QPF or precipitation, and that could spell a lot of ice for a lot of places in southern Virginia, especially interior southeast Virginia into northern North Carolina. Meanwhile, heavy snow is up here up to Washington, and then it probably goes up into Philadelphia and southern Pennsylvania. Far northern Virginia pretty much stays in snow through the whole event. So it's the area or at least right now, if the trends continue and it pushes even farther south, it could be the ice past the I-95 corridor in those regions. So there's still some adjustments that are going to be made here. But the trends are in the warmer side aloft, and that means more in the way of an ice potential going on. That's why I'm on here. I want to stress that this has changed quite a bit since 2 days ago when I gave a briefing. And I want to get the message out. Hey, I want to get the message out that, come here. I want to get the message out that something bigger is and more impactful is possibly coming. So let's look at before I go, where is it? All right, this is the NBM. This is the Weather Service's model that they will probably be briefing off of this afternoon. No, please don't bark. And this is the snowfall expected. Now I will caution the NBM usually is running off old data. This is 13Z. The models don't come in for good until after like 14 or 15Z. So the next run of the NBM will incorporate more of these warming trends into it. But the trends are in there. I mean, here's the ice potential. into central Virginia, southwest Virginia, northern North Carolina, even some ice up to the 95 corridor, Baltimore, Washington, up to Wilmington, or Delaware. So the models are showing this. They are trending in this direction. And this is what the forecast officially, I believe, or it will be close to this from the Weather Service later this afternoon. Now, if we look at the model forecasts, the European snowfall or ice looks like that. That's a lot of ice. Half inch or more, that's a lot of ice Sunday afternoon. And creeping up a little bit more than that toward evening. The snowfall from the European is, if it comes up, is that. Lesser snow to the south across southern Virginia, virtually no snow, probably or little if any accumulation in northeast North Carolina, maybe toward southeast Virginia, an inch, maybe two, potentially. That might be pushing it. But the trends are definitely to the north with the snowfall from the Shenandoah Valley all the way up into southeast Pennsylvania. On the European, and I'm sure the GFS will show the same thing. Well, I think I've always been bothered by the GFS, and I'll tell you why. There's something wrong with it that it's forecasting all this snow. Oh, it's changed. Okay. It has changed. Okay. Something must have updated. But anyway, you can see, whereas, a couple days ago it had more snow to the south, it has trended to the north, just like the rest of the models. And the ice has basically trended up a little bit more too into southern Virginia. Not quite as widespread as the European, but sometimes I think the GFS has sleet problems and doesn't handle that very well. And the transition from sleet to snow, I think it has a tough time handling that. Because if I go down here by that time, well, like I said, it's having trouble with sleet versus freezing rain, and that could be the case. It could be the case that it's more sleet than freezing rain. That would be a better outcome than the freezing rain. So, all of these winter outcomes aren't really the best outcomes, but sleet would be the better of the two for ice. So there's still time to fine-tune this even more, but ice is becoming a little more likely, or a lot more likely actually, into central Virginia and southern Virginia, North Carolina, away from the coast of Virginia, and northeast North Carolina. And people need to pay attention to what's going on here in the next couple of days, but be prepared for those conditions. And here's I will go to my map here, that I basically threw together. Right now, I think the northern track is the dominant way of the two that I listed. And the heavy snow to the north, several inches of snow across southern Virginia into North Carolina, anywhere from 1 to 5 inches along the coast from south to north. So if you're in eastern North Carolina, less. Up toward Maryland would be more, potentially, especially interior Maryland, eastern shore, Cambridge, Salisbury, places like that. The corridor I would be worried about for the ice potential freezing rain is probably, if you follow my cursor here, it's probably this area right here. Richmond, Wakefield, Raleigh, South Hill, Greensboro, maybe out to Farmville. That would be the area right now I would be concerned about freezing rain having a high impact. Still time to change, and the models could resolve itself. Maybe it's gone too extreme, and the warming will not be as extreme, and the snow will move a little farther south, and the ice potential would move farther south, and it will figure out if it's more sleet than freezing rain. I think closer to the coast, it's probably a little more of the liquid. Farther inland, it's probably more of the sleet variety, with the I-95 corridor being the line where that would happen. So That's about that's about it for this. I'm sorry I'm a little disjointed here. We are at the attention stage of the storm. We are now Wednesday afternoon. It starts Saturday evening and continues through Sunday before it goes away on Sunday night. And I'll just throw this up here. We can see temperatures behind the storm. Southern Virginia never hits 40 for the next week and a half. After the storm, you go up to Maryland and you see how cold it's going to be. So whatever happens is going to be around for a little while, and that may impact the impacts of the storm, if that makes sense. So, but anyway, I tried to get this on, and people should pay attention the next couple of days. There are still time, like I said before, for adjustments in the models. I think they're trending in a certain way, and they're all going in the same direction right now. So that's telling us that we're on the right track. It's the fine-tuning stage that comes tomorrow and Friday that we enter for the next round. So I think we have a good handle on it. I think they have a good handle on it as well, local meteorologists and things like that. So pay attention to the forecasts and be prepared for travel disruptions and possible power outages. So that's it. I will conclude with that. And I will talk to you next time.